The cameras captured them arguing. What allegedly happened when the cameras stopped rolling at a town meeting? I'm Jasmine Anderson. We have a reaction from the town. But first, a social worker is accused of trying to kidnap a baby in Long Beach. Police say 40-year-old Heather McGone tried to grab the baby from a stroller that was being pushed by the child's great-grandfather at this intersection. He managed to wrestle McGone to the ground. She allegedly scratched and bit him. McGone's attorney claims she's the one who was attacked. The woman claimed the child was her own. The baby was not hurt. Melania Trump held a White House event to deny any ties to Jeffrey Epstein or knowledge of his crimes.
I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach.
The First Lady did not go into any detail about the accusations against her, but said they were politically motivated. She did ask Congress to have a public hearing centered on Epstein's survivors. Construction of a new Smith Point Bridge is set to start this spring. The estimated cost, nearly $150 million. Meantime, drivers are dealing with one-way traffic as repairs on the old bridge continue. Suffolk County officials hope to have both lanes open by Memorial Day weekend. You may want to check your pantry. There's a rice recall you need to know about. 2-pound bags of Lundberg organic jasmine white rice have been recalled at Wegmans and other stores because of possible foreign material. Wegmans says it'll give customers a full refund if they return the bags. Now a quick look at tomorrow's weather. Cooler temps on the way, partly cloudy, highs in the 50s. Coming up, a real treat for you for your 7-day forecast, so stick with us. You'll want to stick around. A local councilman was arrested after an argument allegedly escalated into an assault, and it happened during a town hall meeting. Virginia Huey has the story.
Horrible, horrible, absolutely horrible. No excuse for violence.
Long Islanders reacting to the arrest of a Smithtown councilman following a heated exchange at a town hall meeting that was caught on camera.
One nation, under God.
It happened Tuesday afternoon. What began as a routine meeting ended with an argument between Councilman Tom Lohman and Councilman Tom McCarthy. McCarthy said Lohman punched and struck him several times in his neck, jaw, and shoulder during a closed-door executive session. McCarthy said for some particular reason, he came over 4 seats and assaulted me on the podium. McCarthy declined an on-camera interview due to the injuries he said he suffered. McCarthy said he couldn't say what the argument was about, but he told Newsday, quote, "It was a passionate discussion, and for some reason it turned violent. It was a discussion with multiple people where we were going back and forth. The supervisor, town attorney, and the whole town board were there." McCarthy said when he asked Lohman for an apology immediately after the incident, Lohman responded with profanity. McCarthy filed charges the next day.
Well, of course, he would press charges for assault and everything. I mean, I would too.
Lohman was arrested at his home and charged with assault. When Newsday went to ask Lohman for his side of the story, this was his response.
I'm assuming this is something that needs to be discussed in private.
2 detectives were seen entering town hall Thursday afternoon. When Newsday requested comment from the town supervisor, a staff member responded.
They said they have no comment.
But Long Islanders who saw the video had plenty to say.
I would expect that behavior from possibly children that really don't know any better, but from adults.
For Newsday TV, I'm Virginia Huey.
Virginia, thank you. People across Long Island and around the world have been following the Gilgo killings case for years. Now that Rex Heuermann has pleaded guilty to 7 murders, the DA is talking about the serial killer. Doug Geed got the one-on-one interview.
Let's talk about that 8th homicide. So he admits to it, but yet it doesn't factor into the sentencing. Just explain that.
Yeah, so I think that, when we were sort of envisioning, how if there was going to be a plea, what would it look like? Since we weren't giving really any break on the time, given the nature of the case, in return for that, if there was other homicides that we could close and provide closure to the families, we wouldn't charge those additionally. So, that's what we offered, and there was a discussion, and we had strongly suspected that he was responsible for the Karen Brigada case. He took responsibility for that, so we said, in return for these 7 pleas of guilt and your willingness to take responsibility for the Brigada case, we'll just, include that in the disposition.
Okay, so legally it kind of closes that case for you and gives closure to the family, as you said.
Yes.
Okay.
And even if we had charged it, it's not like he would have gotten additional time.
Right.
Effectively.
The FBI cooperation, where did that come from?
Yeah, I think that was something that in talking about it, I think that that was something that, given my federal background, I suggested it. I think when people think of the FBI, they think of the TV, the TV FBI, and the real FBI is effective. It's just different. And that BAU, they have a clinical analysis side where they sort of clinically examine people to try to gain insight on them as sort of a scholarly pursuit to try to figure out the motivations, the origins, and how to prevent it or mitigate it. So it's on the clinical side and the scholarship side to sort of educate us better in these types of cases.
I want to get the quote right. I think it was Commissioner Catalina, a sadistic, soulless, murderous monster. And the sheriff talking about his whole life is in corrections, has met the worst of the worst, yet it was so chilling to me how he just appeared so normal. That also struck you, right?
Yeah, I think the thing that really struck me is the duality of it, where he had these two sides of himself, and he was very disciplined in his ability to keep both sides separate and to really hide one side or the other from those that he wanted it to keep hidden.
Yeah.
And that's easier, you see it in the movies, and but in real life, that's really, really difficult to do, and he was very adroit at it.
Is the scariest someone like him, where you wouldn't think twice if you walked by him, yet now you know that this is, as he's been described, a monster?
Yeah, I think I've dealt with a lot of different cases and a lot of really dangerous people, and I think they're all dangerous, but I think the thing that strikes me about him is that duality and that discipline, and that we all say we're gonna keep things one way and or the other, and we sort of backslide because we don't have the discipline. So the discipline he had to sort of maintain the tremendous toll of this dual life is sort of chilling.
Did you hear any remorse, any sympathy for victims? Did you get any of that from him?
Well, I think we're at the state. Today we did the allocution, and the allocution is those are specific questions asked specifically to establish the elements of the crime, so the judge will accept the plea. So you're not going to get that in this hearing. At the sentencing, he'll have the opportunity to address the court, and to the extent there will be those sentiments expressed, you would expect to see that at that hearing.
Here's what's up on Long Island. See clowns, acrobats, juggling, and much more when Circus Vasquez comes to the island. The international act brings its tour to the South Shore Mall starting Friday. Should be a good time. Learn to fish on Saturday. Lessons on basic fly casting are being taught at the Connecticut River State Park Preserve. That's all starting at 10 a.m. Reservations are required. Sing along to Mike Del Giudice. He performs some original music plus fan favorite classics Friday and Saturday night at the Paramount. Time now for the best in high school sports. Here's Jared Velusui.
It was an action-packed week across all spring sports here on Long Island, especially in lacrosse, flag football, and baseball. But we'll start off with some boys lacrosse, as MacArthur's Johnny Nessler would tie a school record. This was goal number 8 in MacArthur's win over Seaford. And also in Nassau County, Garden City with a non-league matchup here. This unsettled situation is going to turn into a Ben Smith snipe in a GC win. And in Suffolk County girls lacrosse, ESM, their skip pass here is going to turn into a Taylor Murtha finish as the Sharks took down Bayport. And Ward Melville girls lax, they traveled to Connecticut to take on New Canaan, and 8th grader Vivian Spidell. What a catch and what a finish for the Patriots. And in flag football, Longwood and Northport, they went into overtime, and Claire Scalfani of Longwood's going to scramble, and she's going to find Cameron Green for a touchdown. Longwood took the lead, but now it was Northport's turn on offense. And the Tigers, they needed a big play here on 4th down, but Liana Colazzo has a different idea in mind. She has the game-ending sack as Longwood comes away with the win in overtime. And in baseball, we'll head back out to Nassau County as Massapequa down 3-1 against Garden City, but AJ Kanza comes up clutch. He drills that ball deep into the outfield. 3-run score for Pequa as they come back to take down GC. And in the Catholic League, St. Anthony's down 1-0, but Hunter Rogie plays the role of hero. 2-run score off this hit, and St. Anthony's wins this one in walk-off fashion as the Friars beat Kellenberg 2-1 in that game. What an incredible week it was here in spring sports on Long Island. I'll be back next week with some more fantastic plays.
Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. Okay, we can just get through this weekend. All will be well. Highs in the 70s next week with plenty of sun and clouds. It's finally starting to look like spring out there, at least feel like it. Like I said, we just have to get through a couple of days. That's a look at your 7-day forecast.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Fire Island Ferries.
For more on the stories you've seen today, head over to Newsday.com, click Get More under the Newsday TV video box. I'm Jasmine Anderson. More news coming up.
An inside look at Long Island businesses as Newsday presents LI Works. Join Ken Bufa as he samples unique jobs and meets the people behind them. LI Works, now available at Newsday.com/LI Works.